Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Masters. There are terms that we use called I feel open, I feel closed. I'm open, I'm closed. When you say that, you know what you mean. You mean I'm feeling up, I'm feeling high, I'm feeling joy, I'm feeling love, I'm enjoying the experience of life. When you're closed, it's the opposite. I feel down, I feel low on energy, I feel depressed. Nothing's exciting, nothing inspires me, I'm just closed. Let's talk about what those things really mean. And every one of you experience it. Why does it happen? See, we don't think about why does it happen. We think about what do I do about it? When you're open, how can I stay here? What do I need? Who caused it? And when you're closed, it's what do I do about this? I don't feel well. What do I do? Where do I go? What do I buy? Where do I travel? So it's all about this is just what is. What do I do about it? That is not spirituality. It is not. You're taught that, and it's okay. It's okay. You got to go through what you need to go through. You're taught what it's about is getting what you want, about attracting to yourself what will make you high, and about staying away from what brings you down. Just making those choices and doing those things in your life. It doesn't matter what method you use. I mean, it does socially and so on, but it doesn't matter what method you use. You're still doing the same thing. You're saying, I'm not okay. What do I need to do to be okay? Or I am okay. How do I keep this? How do I bottle it? And so on. Spirituality is the exact opposite. Spirituality is not about asking, what do I do to make myself feel okay? It's about asking, why do I not feel okay? That's very different. And if your mind does, which most minds do, say they're the same. I'm not feeling okay because I need somebody. I'm not feeling okay because I need to take care of that. I need to get my finances together. And then if I sit there and say, no, it's not about asking, what do I do because I'm not okay? It's about saying, why am I not okay? Your mind says, I'm not okay because I don't have money. I'm not okay because I don't have the relationship I want. I'm not okay because I can't do what I want. No. That's not true. You're not okay because you're closed. Why am I closed? Because I don't have a relationship? No. You're closed. That's an inner state of being. It has nothing to do with the outside. Nothing. The problem is you think it does because you pay attention. I notice that if I'm closed, but somebody comes up to me and compliments me and says really, really nice things, I feel more open. Therefore, open and closed is about the outside. It's about the outside being what I need it to be, so I feel okay. And if I'm feeling well and doing well and really high, and somebody comes up and criticizes me and disses me and lies about me, of course I feel closed. Look what they did. So we don't own that it's happening inside of us. The event is happening outside, but there's not a reason in the world that some outer event should affect. Oh, here we go. I want you to disagree with me. There's not one single reason in the world that an outer event affects your inside. You're in here. You're in here. Hello, hi. How you doing in there? The outside's outside, the inside's inside. The outside's outside and the inside's inside. The problem is we're very used to the outside affecting the inside, aren't we? Like that's our whole life. That's our whole life, trying to get the outside to be the way we need it to be so we feel okay inside. That is so funny. To yoga, that's hilarious. It's like sitting there saying, I need a drink of water. Well, there's water in front of you. No, I need someone really good looking to come pick it up and feed it to me. Just drink the water, right? So this relationship between the outside and the inside, let's talk about it deeply from both a spiritual and a psychological, worldly point of view. You are inside. You are conscious. What does that mean? I am aware that I'm in here, aren't you? I'm aware that I'm in here. The question becomes, what am I aware of? Subject, object. Consciousness is the subject, and there are lots of objects, aren't there? How many objects are there you can be conscious of? Trillions and billions, thoughts, emotions, events, colors, but you're aware of them. If you see the color green, you see the color black, it's the same you who sees them. There's just one consciousness, but there are tons of objects. That is consciousness and object of consciousness. And that's all of spirituality, is to return to the seat of consciousness so you are not distracted by the objects of consciousness. Are you distracted by the objects of consciousness? Do your thoughts distract you? Can a thought pop up inside and you go bye-bye? I'm in here, I just had a real deep meditation, and the phone rings. Can you get distracted? Meaning, can your consciousness be drawn away from where it was? That's what distraction means, isn't it? Consciousness got drawn somewhere else. I got distracted by what you look like, by what you said, by what you're wearing, whatever. So the consciousness is there, always it's there. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. Wouldn't matter because you don't know squat, all right? But you know you're conscious. You're not conscious that you know you're conscious, but you're obviously conscious. And the question becomes, what are you conscious of? And you will see, if you pay attention, that you're being distracted by all sorts of things, by your thoughts, by your emotions. Oh, boy, I can distract you. How long does it take for an emotion to distract you? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And the world, whoa. Colors, shapes, sounds, tastes, smells. Can a smell distract you? Both good and bad? Okay, so that's the foundation of what's going on, is that you're conscious, and consciousness can become distracted. Now, I'll keep going back to it. Distracted from where? Oh, my God. I just said, oh, my God, right? When they say to you, you are God descended, you are God descended. Your consciousness is the consciousness that created the universe. You are one. There's only one consciousness. But scientists have found out there are no form, there's no atoms, there's no electrons, neutrons, or protons. There's this field, a field of energy that vibrates and acts like a particle, and it all gets built up here. So that underlying energy is God. That underlying energy is everywhere. It's omnipresent and it's omnipotent. It's the creation of everything. Then when the scientists talk about the standard model, they have different kind of particles. I'll call them particles or not, but different kind of particle. And one of them are called bosons. You don't have to know all this, but I like that you do. There's quarks, leptons, and bosons. That's what's underlying the whole thing, and the fields vibrating, creating those things. Bosons are forces. Gravity, electromagnetism, they haven't proven gravity yet, but electromagnetism and strong nuclear, weak nuclear, they're the forces that create the universe. Therefore, that underlying energy is everywhere, and it's omnipotent. It's the creator of all things. It's getting so close to your definition of God, it's ridiculous, but they don't believe in God. I think that's very funny. So there's an underlying energy creating everything. The yogis, I'm just going to tell you, you go check it out, the great masters have come to the realization that underlying energy is consciousness. That's what's creating everything, conscious. Just like your dreams are just your mind manifesting out of nothing. There's buildings, there's people, there's events. It's the same thing out here. It's just an underlying consciousness is emanating the basic underlying quantum field with all its force, all of its thing, and it comes up and it creates. So back here, you are conscious. Well, wait a minute, you just said consciousness created the universe. Very deep. Since you are consciousness, that's what you are, you're conscious inside, then you are that consciousness. Well, I thought I'm this little woman that's scared to death and doesn't like what's happening, and the husband left me, and I don't know what to do, and I'm upset. I thought I was that. No. That's what you're looking at. That's what the consciousness is aware of. You're not that. If something all of a sudden changes and what's bothering you stops bothering you, and people come back and everybody else says they're so sorry, all of a sudden you're looking at something nicer. Same you. Same consciousness is looking down at your thoughts, your emotions are coming in through your senses. You experience every single thing. It doesn't matter. Somebody says something nice to you. That's an experience you had. Who had it? Me. I had it. Somebody says something not nice to me. That's another experience. Who had the experience? Who's aware of the experience? Who knows they had the experience? I know what you said. You can't say that to me. I know what you said. They're very funny. Who is in there? Consciousness. Awareness of being. Are you aware? Do you have thoughts? How do you know? These are the deep questions. If I kept pushing you, I'm a therapist. You come in, I'm so sad. He left me, my heart is broken. I'm a terrible therapist. You don't want me as a therapist, right? To which I would say, how do you know? How do I know I left? No. How do you know you don't feel good? How do you know your heart hurts? Well, I told you my heart. How do you know? I push you hard enough to where you look at me with anger in your eyes saying, because I'm in here and I feel it. Congratulations. Namaste. You are in there, are you not? And you do feel it. The problem is you're much more interested in what you feel than who feels it. That is total bottom line of spirituality. Muktananda said it perfectly. Meditate on the self, you who's in there. Honor and worship your own being, for God dwells within you as you. So I just said that to you. You who's looking at it is consciousness. That which created the universe is consciousness. They are the same consciousness. That's why there is a state of enlightenment. That's what the state where they merge together. Meher Baba said, my awareness, my consciousness was like a drop of water. It fell into the ocean. Find it. Find that drop of water. It does what's called merging. It merged, became one. That's what the great masters went. They merged. That's the oneness. That's what enlightenment means. And that's what Christ meant. I and my Father are one. It's all right there. That's Buddha's nirvana. That's where Buddha went. Merged. Oneness. So basically, you're in there and you're conscious. That's our starting position. What am I conscious of? And why? When we started talking, why are all these emotions? Why are all these opens and closes and all that stuff? What's that about? What happens is there is an outside world. Sure there is. It comes from the quantum field. It's not so real. Einstein, I love what Einstein once said. He said, reality is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. I told you wake up in the morning, your bed's still there. There is no bed. There's just these wavelets in the quantum field manifesting as electrons, neutrons, protons, atoms, molecules into form. But underneath, that's all that's happening. And so we get lost. All right. So to that extent, there's an outside world. There it is. It's unfolding in front of you. And you have senses. That's how you know it's unfolding in front of you, because it comes in through the portals, through the ports of your sensors. Sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. So it comes in. That's our starting place. It's out there. Has nothing to do with you. It's out there. Was it out there a minute ago? Was it out there a year ago? Was it out there 1.5 billion years ago? Was it out there 13.8 billion years ago in the Big Bang? There's things out there. And you're conscious. Of what? Of the things that are out there, at least in front of me. Very good. They have nothing to do with each other. A light, a spotlight, that's shining on an object, illumines the object. Is the object the light? Or are they totally different things? The light is shining on the object, but the light is independent. It's transcendent. It's different, isn't it? But it shines on the object. And so it illumines the object. And the object thinks the light is it. It thinks I am this light object. Then thinks the light. I'm the object that's glowing. That's who you are. Your consciousness is aware of what it experiences. It is not what it experiences, it's aware of what it experiences. So the objects are out there, all kinds of objects. We'll start with the outside objects. How many are there? 100 billion, zillion, quillion on this planet. There's a lot of stuff out there, isn't there? That is God. You can do whatever you want, believe whatever you want. Can you even try to imagine that every single molecule of creation and all of space going on for all of infinity with all the galaxies is the manifestation of one consciousness, and it is aware that it is aware that it is aware of itself at all times, everywhere. Just like, can you feel your feet? Can you feel your feet and your hands at the same time? You sure? How about your tummy? Because your consciousness is omnipresent in your body. It's everywhere. You have to move it from place to place, do you? It's the same thing with the universe. It is one consciousness having manifested all of form, all of creation, and it is aware of every spot of it the same as every other spot. That's what the Bible says when it means not a hair on your head moves that God doesn't know. Not a sparrow falls from the tree that he's not aware. Of course, he is the hair. He's the sparrow. He's everything. All right. Just thought I'd interject that a little bit. So you stop with this. What do you do with God? You make it personal. You sit down there and say, God is who I pray to so I get what I want. Okay. Let's limit him down to that, down to you and what you want. And there's God. I'm not denying that God can answer your prayers. By all means, pray. But I wouldn't mind at all if you had a proper understanding of what the word God means. I told you in the ancient Hebrew traditions, they wouldn't even write the word God. They'd write G-D, and they wouldn't even say the word God. Even though in the Bible, the Old Testament, he says, I'll give you my name, YHWH. That's what the Bible says. What's my name? My name is YHWH. There's a whole name for that in the tradition and so on, right? But the rabbis, the ancient rabbis, wouldn't use Yahweh. They wouldn't use that name. So they made up a name that means nothing, Hashem. And they kind of winked at each other. So when I say Hashem, you know what I mean? That's true. Go look up the tradition of that word. It's so beautiful. So they didn't want to make an image of God because it was so big. It was so beyond your comprehension. Your mind could never think about something that big, right? But you don't do that. You limit it down to humanness. Okay. So now we have creation. There it is. And we have it's out there. And we have consciousness that's aware of it. Wow. What's wrong with that? If God expressed himself, that's what he did. He expressed every aspect of himself throughout all creation. Black holes, galaxies, burning fires, right? And ants. I'm everything. I'm everything. I'm everything. Therefore, everything that's created is me. All of it, good, bad, right, wrong, up, down, every single thing. All right. That's what's there. And God's consciousness is experiencing the creation that got created. Believe it or not, that is what being in the garden means. That is where Adam and Eve were. There is creation. They exist, and they're experiencing creation. And there's no problems. Why would there be a problem? I'm experiencing myself. All right. So what happened? Remember what we're talking about. Why sometimes you're open, why sometimes you're closed. What's all that going on in there? We start from the beginning. There you are. There's no open, close. There's nothing. There's just creation, experiencing creation, consciousness experiencing the dance of consciousness. It's all one. It's just harmony with self forever. It's eternal. It's always been there. It's infinite. It's everywhere. Oh my God. There it is. What happened? What happens is consciousness has some qualities. One quality is awareness. Consciousness can be aware, can't it? That's what you're conscious, so you're aware. It has some other qualities, though. It has the ability to focus. Can you focus your consciousness? Do you focus your consciousness? You want to think of something in your mind? You do, what's the word? Concentrate on it. What does concentrate mean? You can take your awareness and focus it on a thought. You can take your awareness and do math in your head. 15 times 6. Okay? To do that, you have to focus your consciousness. If you're just totally expansive, that doesn't happen. You're not focusing on a given object, but you do that in your mind all the time. You concentrate, you focus. Fine. So that's one of the qualities of consciousness. It's like a beam of light. It can be 6-degree floodlight, 12-degree, 13-degree, 50-degree, 30-degree, right or wrong. You've seen them, all right? It can be expanded or it can be contracted. Same light, just focused. I use the example, you can take a magnifying glass out there right now, out in the field. The field's everywhere. Sun is everywhere. Take a magnifying glass and then look at what it's shining at. Whoa, it may catch a leaf on fire, wouldn't it? It just took the same sunlight and concentrated it down to a focal point, and it changed its nature. Its nature became hot and fire and focused light and so on. That's what consciousness is capable of doing, is focusing. Focusing, not focusing. In the 60s, we used to say expanded consciousness. It took me a long time to say, no. It's not expanding consciousness. It's ceasing to contract consciousness. Consciousness is already the whole universe. I didn't really want to go there, but we started there, okay? It's everything. It's everywhere. But it can concentrate. How? Limit, focus, contract. Now, what would make consciousness, which is everywhere, focus on a little thing like a snake? Here's a rattlesnake, 15 feet long. I'm going to put it in the room. I wonder what you're paying attention to. It distracted your consciousness. It was wherever it was. Now it is focused on the snake. So these are very deep spiritual words, right? So consciousness is the essence of everything. The fact that it can focus, then the question becomes, what does it focus on? It gets distracted, therefore it focuses on what distracted it. Do you focus on what distracted you? A sound, a sight, a color, something beautiful, something ugly. It distracts your consciousness. Therefore, your consciousness, instead of being seated in the universal, which is where it is, right now, you're enlightened. Right now, you're one with God. Right now, every single one of you and everything that ever lived, there's only one consciousness. There's only one consciousness. Why are there so many people? Because it is that consciousness being distracted by your thoughts, your emotions, your thoughts, what you see through your eyes, what you hear through your ear. It's the same consciousness being distracted, being pulled down like a ray of light. The sun is out there, but it emanates rays, and those rays fall down to the earth. And each ray illumines something different, doesn't it? But it's one sun. That is God. The sun, the ray, the source. So now consciousness gets distracted by object of consciousness. There. That's the essence of understanding spirituality. Consciousness gets distracted by object of consciousness. Why? I don't have the answer. Okay? It just does. Yours does. It does. And so it gets pulled down. And that's the fall from the garden. You're merged. You're one. You're experiencing all of creation. And then all of a sudden, a piece of that consciousness gets pulled down. Your consciousness gets pulled down, distracted, until it gets pulled down and it stays there. What do you mean? Can a beam of light keep focusing on one place? So that beam of light focused on what distracted it, and what distracted it is small. It's big, but it's small. And next thing you know, you're starting to build a set of thoughts, a set of emotions, everything that ever distracted you. Let's say you had a traumatic experience. It rather distracted you. I doubt that traumatic experience passed right by. No, it distracted your consciousness so that it got pulled down and fixated. These are deep words. You see how spirituality and psychology merge? So it gets distracted and then it keeps focused on that. It makes me cry. There's children that saw their parents die in a car accident and they'll never talk again. They don't come back. Why? They can't talk. Their vocal cords change. No, nothing changed. But the consciousness that was aware of how to use the body, of how to walk, how to do things, how to experience life, is no longer experiencing all those things. It got so fixated, so distracted. We call it fixation, right? It got so distracted by this one event that that's where it stays. And therefore it loses the ability to literally, they could learn not to walk. They could never talk ever again. That makes sense to you. Do you see the relationship between expanded enlightened consciousness and this fixation that happens? Now, hopefully you haven't had those experiences. Have you ever had a bad experience that distracted you enough that even though the experience is not happening again, it still bothers you? That's what's going on. Your consciousness got distracted by the divorce, got distracted by the child dying, got distracted by somebody leaving you, got distracted by you losing your job, got distracted by what somebody said when you were in 5th grade. I'll never forget it. It hurt me so bad. Can you get distracted? Can you get distracted even though the event is no longer happening outside? It got so distracted that you stored it inside. Suppression, repression, all psychology. So the point is, it distracts the consciousness. Understand your relationship to God. You are God's consciousness distracted. And every one of you got distracted by something different. No one else had the experience you had. No one else saw exactly what you saw, especially in sequence. I saw this, then I saw this. No one else did that. What distracted your ray of God consciousness is completely different from every human being that ever lived or ever will live. Wow, you're special. So those things got distracted. And when they got distracted, it pulled your awareness, just like the magnifying glass, it pulled the awareness down to that point. And that point had power, just like the magnifying glass. I've talked to this before and I don't want to get into it. What is will? I don't know how many people other than very deep meditators understand what will is. Will is concentrated consciousness. When your consciousness gets distracted, it brings with it power, the power to suppress, the power to complain. Like there's juice in there, isn't it? It's not just, oh, I'm aware, but a force comes with it. I told you in the ancient yogic traditions, one of the names for God is Chit Shakti, conscious energy. They're one and the same thing. Consciousness and energy are the same thing, just like electricity and magnetism are the same. They're called electromagnetism. They used to think they were separate. Now they understand it's the same force. It can be studied. There's a force called electromagnetism, all right? There's a presence in the universe called Chit Shakti, conscious energy. So that when you get distracted, not only does your awareness get pulled down, but the Shakti comes with it. The energy comes with it. Therefore, you're aware of what somebody said, but boy, there's some Shakti coming up inside of you. You're going to pay for that. Don't you talk to me that. There's energy behind it. It's not just awareness. You got juice. Your will and the ability to do something about it, the ability to push things. Freud says that when you have a bad experience, you suppress it. Who suppresses it? How'd you know you had a bad experience, Sigmund? I'm in here. Good, very good. Where does suppression come from? Not what is it? Understand what it is. It's the event pushed down into your subconscious, and then you fight to keep it there. When it comes back up, do you push it back down? When something very disturbing comes back up from your youth or your 10 years ago, whatever, do you tend to push it back down? I don't want to deal with this. What is that power? Where does that come from? Who gave you the power to push that thing back down? It's willpower. It's not your food. It is an internal power that you have, which comes along with the focus of consciousness. That's what will is consciousness focusing and having the power to do something about it. So you're in there, an event takes place. You know, the original sin was the first time that consciousness got distracted enough and identify with what it was distracted by instead of identifying with itself as consciousness. I'm going to repeat that. It identified with what it got distracted by, the snake, the word, the event. If I ask you who you are, you naturally, if I didn't teach you and read down to the soul, you might say, well, I'm a 35-year-old woman that got married when I was here, and this is who I'm married to, and these are my children. That's not who you are. Those are the experiences you had. And I played Dorothy in the 5th grade and everybody clapped. Or I played Dorothy in the 5th grade and the teacher took the part away from me because I was so bad. How old are you now? 73. What happens when you hear the word Wizard of Oz? I get all freaked out. So what you basically do is you are God's consciousness distracted by some of the events that came in from the outside world. Now we're getting closer to what open and close is about and why. All right? Why did the events come from the outside world? Because they happen. The teacher really did tell you, hey, you don't sing well enough. You go to the back. Nice teacher. Okay, but it happened, didn't it? 5th grade, it happened. Can you handle it? What does that mean? It means it distracted me. It didn't feel good. The outside comes in. It has what the Buddhists call its nature. The nature of a snake coming into your consciousness is different than the nature of a butterfly flying by and landing on your arm. That's not some psychological problem you have. That's the truth. Things have a nature. They feel different. They are different. Therefore, when they come into you, you experience them differently. What a yogi, a great master would say to you, yeah, so So experience them differently. What's wrong with that? If I play the piano, I don't do very well, but if I play the piano, if I hit a different note, it makes a different sound. If I hit this note, this note, this note, they sound different. Fine. So what? No, I don't like that sound. I like that one. Well, take the keys off. I don't know. What are you going to do? A great master would say to you, an enlightened being system says, yes, things have different vibrations. They're all the vibrations of God. They're just everything that God created has form and vibrations, doesn't it? Every word has a vibration, doesn't it? Every sight has a vibration. Every color has a vibration. You all know about that, don't you? Fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. It comes in through your senses. That's why you have senses, so that it can bring in the outside world. Bring it in where? To your consciousness. It brings it in, and your conscious experiences it. Fine. So it experiences the note of C and experiences the note of D sharp. Good. Make some music. But don't get upset. Don't say, no, I can't handle this. I hate the note of C. Because what happens is if you judge it, this is so deep what we're talking about. We're talking about non-judgment, like in non-duality. You've heard the term. There's a whole philosophy of non-duality. Does that mean that the note C and the note D sharp sound the same? If you're changing them, there's duality. No, it means you experience them the same. Non-duality doesn't mean the outside world is the same. It is underlying, it's God, all right? But when it comes up, you experience it, but there's no difference to the experience. You're fine with this note C and you're fine with the note D. And you can be so fine, you make music out of it. It's fun. It's fun. There's differences. So the world comes in, you experience its nature. The problem is that the things distract you different. Some comes in, here's a rose, and there was a ladybug on it the night before, and it ate part of it. And that rose was supposed to go to a flower show that you were so proud of. Are you okay? No. Why? There's a rose, came up from the quantum field, got expressed it. There's a ladybug, was hungry, it landed on the rose. What's the difference? Whether it ate a piece or didn't eat a piece, or that rose, what's the difference? There's no difference. There's just experiencing creation. But that ain't where we're at, is it? Why? Because one distracts me more than the other. The rose that doesn't have the eaten part and the rose that has the eaten part draws my consciousness down differently, doesn't it? And this is where preference comes from. That is the fall from the garden. The fact that you're not able to experience God's creation as one, as all the same. Here it is. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. That's the first line of the third Zen patriarch treatise on faith mind, the deepest line ever written. Why? Because the opposite is also true. The great way is extremely difficult for those who have preferences. Have you noticed? If you want things to be a certain way or don't want to be a certain way, you suffer. Who taught you that? Buddha. Those are the Four Noble Truths. All of life is suffering. The cause of suffering is preference. The cause of suffering is that you can't handle reality. Therefore, you do what? You focus your energy, your Shakti, your consciousness got pulled down to it, and you focus on it, and then you hold it. I would tell you guys, it's the funniest thing I ever heard. People collect baseball cards. People collect teacups, coins. You collect bad experiences. That's a very interesting collection. I don't think that works out too good. But that's what you do, don't you? Instead of letting it go, you actually keep it. You don't want to experience it again, whatever. I want to get a psychology of it. The point is you do. That's what suppression is. I've taken the power of my consciousness that got distracted by this event, and I pushed it away. I don't want to experience it. There's the birth of the I. God's experiencing everything, but not when it focuses down and it gets distracted there. Now there's birth of this power called I. I am separate, and I have the right to have things be the way I want. And now the outside world comes in, reality comes in. I don't want it to. I don't like it. I'm scared of it. I'm afraid something might happen that hurts me. All of a sudden, there's this I that gets formed inside because you held on to these past experiences. And now you've made a complete mess of God. That is the fall from the garden. What does it say after the fall from the garden? What does the Bible say? Now you must work by the sweat of your brow to be okay. Does anybody work by the sweat of their brow? Why? You're trying to make everything outside come in a certain way so it doesn't bother you or so it feels good. That's where we started. So opening and closing is an inner thing you do. You close because the ladybug was on the rose. You open because you're really into nature and you love ladybugs, and you both see the same thing, and you go into ecstasy and you go into depression, right? But what you want to say is, no, but you don't know what happened to me. I know. I know what happened to you. You fell from the garden. That's what happened to you. Do I need the details? Ram Dass used to say, come, you start to tell me your problems and so on, right? I can listen to a little bit, but then I'm not interested. I'm not even interested in my own problems. So that's what happened. You are the divine consciousness filled with Shakti, with energy, Satchidananda, eternal ecstasy. God is ecstasy. That's why he expressed himself. He just, oh. And basically now it got distracted enough to where you not only experience it special, but you identify. That's the key. You identify with the experience. I'm the one that this happened to. You are not. That's not who you are. That's an experience you had. Isn't every single problem going on inside you, all your suppressed stuff, experiences you had? Then they're not who you are. They're experiences you had. Do you now see why it's going on in the way it is? People say, why does my mind talk all the time? Why is that voice in my head always talking about things, mostly negative too, by the way? Why am I always afraid of the future? Why do I always keep bringing back the past that bothered me? Because you stored that energy. You didn't let it go. It came in. You concentrated on it, and you didn't like it, so you pushed it away. And so now you have this garbage stored inside of you that's trying to get out. Your mind is not your problem. Your mind is not the enemy. You don't have a bad mind. You have a mind that's expressing the garbage you stored in there, and that's why it keeps talking about all these negative things, because that was just stored in there. So the answer is not to go out there and find something positive that distracts you from your negative mind. I need a new relationship. I need this. I need to travel. I need to find this. I need certain food. And it would distract me from what? From me. So you stored this stuff inside of you, the stuff that you didn't handle. You pushed it away using Shakti, using will. You push it away and you keep pushing it down there, and you got a bunch of stuff down there. So now that's what's going on inside of you. We've gotten there. That is what's going on inside of you. Not only is it going on inside of you, you think you're it. I just think that's hilarious. I am the sum of my learned experiences. That's a quote from psychology. Man is the sum of his learned experiences. You are not. You're the one that experienced the experiences. If you weren't in there experiencing them, we don't have a problem. Here, I'm going to be psychic. You're there. I don't know you. I guarantee you, you don't have a single problem with things you never experienced. Isn't that amazing? You only have problems with the tiny little things you experienced? How many things are going on at the same moment all over the earth, the universe? How many things are going on at the same moment you're experiencing what you're experiencing, and you're not experiencing them? You're only experiencing what you're experiencing. I put a rattlesnake down there. Well, I didn't put it everywhere. There's trees, there's leaves, there's rain, there's everything everywhere. There's sand on Mars, everything. And there's a rattlesnake. That's just one thing that's going on in the universe. Somehow, that thing's more important to you than anything else, isn't it? But it's not more important. Look to the left. There's no snake. Don't come to the temple. There won't be a snake when I put it in there. Anything could be happening. That just happened to be what's happening at that moment. It's not special. It's just what you're experiencing out of all the possible experiences. And I would say to you, that means you missed everything. People say, I don't want to miss anything. How much have you missed? Every single thing. I told you, what you have experienced is statistically insignificant. And that's all you experience. I'm not picking on you. Every one of you, all you experienced was the moment that was going on in front of you. How meaningless is that? What about all the other moments that you're not experiencing? Why is your moment more important than all the rest? So the consciousness gets distracted by this experience you're having. And because of that, you get involved with it, you identify with it. And you start defining your, so ego is the definition that consciousness is made of its tiny little self that's staring at itself and said, this is what I am. I'm this person, this is my marriage, this is the thing that's happening. You're not. You're the divine consciousness lost in staring at your mind, your emotions, and so on. Okay, what about open and close? Now it's easy. I had to lay the groundwork. Now it's easy. Why do things outside affect your inside? Because you stored stuff in there. You didn't let it go. So now you have a bunch of, what do we call them? The sensitive spots in there. My favorite is this. We don't talk about that around your father. He can't handle that. What's wrong with daddy? He's suppressed. He got problems. Do you have any problems? Anybody have soft spots? Anybody have subjects that are sensitive to you? How sensitive? So sensitive that if someone's talking to you and they raise their voice just slightly at a certain point, and your mother used to talk like that when she was yelling at you, you get upset. But they're not your mother. But it's not your mother's voice. Doesn't matter. It hits that stuff in there, doesn't it? And now your entire life is about trying to have the outside come in a way that the only thing it hits is nice stuff that I stored. Oh, I remember she loved me so much. It was so neat. I know it was just high school, but wow, I never forgot. Okay, very good. So you like her name, you like the name Betty. It evokes really nice feelings. I feel sorry for you, because every name should evoke really nice feelings. But the only one that evokes really nice feelings in you is the one you had nice experiences about that you held in there. And if something bad gets said, if you just see something that reminds you of something bad. I don't like the color black. Why? Well, at my mother's funeral, they wore black. And ever since then, anybody can relate? So you stored this stuff in there. So now the outside world affects the inside. The outside world does not. It's just going about its business. Physics, chemistry, it's just realities doing its thing. Why does it have to rain on my birthday? It doesn't know it's your birthday, and it has nothing to do with you. But you say things like that, don't you? Why does she have to do that? I love that one. Why did she have to do that? We were getting on so well. Why does she have to do that? You want the answer? Because of all the experience that ever happened to her throughout her entire life that ended up leaving those impressions inside of her that made her do what she did. How's that for an answer? No, I don't want that to be the answer. That's too realistic. I just want to know why she did that. How could you say that? How could you say that to me? Oh, where I grew up, there's nothing wrong with that. My parents talk about that all the time. Take a breath. Isn't that what's going on? That's why the outside affects the inside, because you stored the outside inside. Not all of it, not the white lines on the road. They don't get you upset. The clouds passing by, unless that cloud looks like Grandpa in his wheelchair and he died last year. And now I get all sad. It's like, I don't like any of the clouds now. I don't want to look up. I don't want to look up. Can you do that? Can you get that far gone? Wake up. I said to you, we're going to talk about why does the outside affect the inside. Now, do you understand? There's no relationship. There's no relationship between the outside and the inside. The inside is pure light shining down on what's happening outside. No judgment, no right, no wrong, no good, no bad, no nothing. Just God, God's consciousness looking at God's creation. God's consciousness looking at God. That's the state of enlightenment. God's consciousness looking at God's creation. And it's all passing through, and moments are good and bad, and they come and they go, and that's that. But that's not what happens. What happens is they distract us, and then we identified with it because of the vibration. We didn't like the vibration. I can't handle it. I can't handle what happened. Well, that's absurd. I don't know what to say. I can't handle what happened. I'm sorry it happened. Make it not happen. Nothing that already happened can't not have happened, right or wrong. So it's kind of like get with the program, but we're not capable. We're not capable because we've suppressed this stuff, held this stuff in here, and defined ourselves as that. We defined ourselves. Man is the sum of his learned experiences. No, you are not. You're the awareness that is aware of the experiences you had. And that sound nicer? And are you the sum of your learned experiences? Or is your psyche the sum of your learned experiences? That which you built inside, what's your psyche made out of? The things you couldn't handle. Either they were too good or too bad. The rest you just let go. But now you're the person who likes this and doesn't like that. Based on what? Based on the experiences I had and how they felt when they came in. And whether I dealt with them well or not. Then I stored them and I built this me. I built this I. Someone once asked Yogananda, what is the ego? The masquerading self. In other words, the consciousness experiencing and collecting those experiences and wearing them as a mask in front of itself, saying, this is who I am. And if you don't like it, I can change. Don't leave. Don't leave. Please don't leave. No, what I can change. I can change. That's admitting that you're wearing a mask and you can paint it a different color. Okay? So it's like, there it is. That's what's going on inside. It's not what's supposed to be going on inside. What's supposed to be going on inside? Ecstasy. pure Shakti, total upward flow of energy that blows you away all the time, so that every experience you have is seen through the eyes, through the gloss of that God self, through ecstasy. That is your natural state. That is your natural state. So now the question becomes, well, I would like to be in that state. I'd like to be in a state where if I love somebody and it's really beautiful and they want to leave or they need to leave, then I help them pack and have a good time. Wow, this was such a great experience. Thank you so much. How can I help? And you're fine. That's a very high state. And by the way, I always say to you, humanness has emotions. So fine, they're going to leave and you feel sadness. And you love the experience of sadness the same as you love the experience of joy. There's no difference. It's just a vibration in the universe that when you experience it feels different. Like death is so sad. They wrote a funeral march. You know that one, right? Dun, dun, da, dun, da, da, da. Who wrote that? Chopin, one of the greatest composers. He captured the feeling of loss, the feeling of sadness. It's beautiful. Doesn't art express everything? The scream, it's all beautiful, but we can't handle it. Why? Because consciousness resists. It pushes away. It suppresses. And so it makes duality. It creates this good and bad and right and wrong and so on and so forth. So now that we've spent all of our time talking about how you got messed up, how do you get free? It was very easy. If the problem is not the world is the world. It's happening I don't understand. You're not bothered by 87 billion things that if you paid attention, they would bother the hell out of you. You're only bothered by what you're paying attention to. So what would happen if you were more open and not closed? What if you never closed? What if everything that came in, you looked at the tendency to close, don't you have that? The tendency to close, and you learned to practice surrender. People misunderstand when they see surrender. They think, oh, whatever the world is doing, I have to surrender to it. Or just accept. If a drug dealer comes up to me and says, hey, man, I got some really good coke. You want some? You're supposed to say, yes, surrender. Come on, man. Mickey said surrender. Every experience. No, that's not what surrender means. Surrender is not outside. Surrender is inside. Surrender is something happened outside. It came in. It created energy inside of me that is disturbing, that I generally don't like, and I usually push it away. What? Not the outside event, the energy that came inside and my resistance to it. Surrender means I will not resist the energy as it comes in so that I can then deal with the experience instead of deal with my resistance to the experience. Did anybody understand that? You're dealing with your resistance to it. I don't like what you did. I don't like what you did. Now I'm going to try to figure out what to do so I can be okay, even though you did it. I'm not trying to solve the problem. I'm trying to solve my problem. That's because I can't handle it. But what if somebody says to you something not nice that comes in, you feel it, and you say, fine, this is what happened. I can deal with it. I've dealt with stuff before, and you let it go. Now what? Now your consciousness is present to be able to deal with what's actually happening instead of your reaction to what's happening. That's why you close. You close when you resist. You close when you say, no, I don't like this. If I don't like it, I try to push it away. I just pushed away my heart. I pushed away the energy flow that could have come in and freed me, the beauty of life. I pushed away the beauty of life. Why? I didn't like it. Okay, then you close. Well, what if I like what you said? Woo, I open. What does that mean? I don't push it away. It didn't hit my stuff, and I'm open to it. So it's not the outside world that's doing it. It's you in there. It's all about you in there. It's not about the outside world. So you in there learn to honor and respect all vibrations in creation. That's asking a lot, by the way, right? But let's start with at least it's raining. I don't like the rain. It makes me sad. I don't want it to rain. I want to have my birthday party outside. Oh, okay. Can we handle this tiny little stuff that goes on every single day and we don't even pay attention that we're resisting? Because when you resist, you close. If it's raining, you don't want it to rain. How do you feel? If it's raining, you want it to rain. How do you feel? See? Preference. You're doing it. And so you basically start practicing Surrender. Surrendering means what? Surrender the tendency to resist, not the event, the tendency to resist the event. And so you just start practicing. Car in front of you, I always use this example. People say to me, you keep using the same examples. Yeah, because they're good examples. Which one of you have never talked to the driver in front of you? They don't hear you. You just wasted your time. They don't hear a single word. They don't know you're being bothered by it. You're just causing yourself problems for no reason. Doesn't help one iota. Well, then maybe you shouldn't do it. Well, what do I do if they didn't use their blinker? A nice blinker, buddy. They keep stepping on their brakes, and I'm trying to drive behind them. They're driving 15 miles an hour below the speed limit. I'm in a rush. Come on, man. What do I do? You practice acceptance. You sit in there and say, I can handle this. I don't have to resist the fact that it's raining, do I? I don't have to resist the fact that it's raining. That's how I'm doing inside myself, screw myself up. Stop it. That's how you grow spiritually. It's not about getting what you want. It's about letting go of the party that's resisting reality. And then, of course, you come down and deal with it. You have to deal with things, but not because you can't handle them. You deal with them because you can handle them, and you're dealing with them. Right? So now you understand what the outside world affects the inside. It was a long trip. You understand how God is God, but because of getting lost and focusing and being fixated on a given event or a given thought, all of a sudden God is you. The fall from the garden. That is the fall from the garden. How do you know that? Because you notice when you fell, it's suffering. And when you go deep enough, you notice that when you let go, there's no suffering. There's no suffering. There's just experiencing. And the great ones could experience anything, really great, totally surrendered. And just then all of life merges together. So the bottom line is as follows. You're a very great being. And no matter what ever happened to you or you ever did, makes no difference. If it happened in a place where you weren't, does it make a difference? Then it doesn't make a difference if it happened in a place where you were. Stop all this guilt and all this junk. I mean, of course, do the best you can. If you let go of all your junk, you don't have to worry about how you behave, because it will be God expressing itself through you. Do you understand that? I mean, no personal. So understand, no guilt, no shame, no blame, just handle it. Handle it. Let go. As it happens, let go. If you can't, you'll fall, won't you? But what if I can't handle it? You're going to fall. You argue, you fight, you get divorced, you do all kinds of things. Well, what do I do then? Get back up. Well, if I get back up, I messed up. No, you didn't mess up. You learn. You get to learn. Earth is a place where souls are set to evolve. You do your best to stay clear. You do your best to let go. If your best doesn't generate that result, I'm getting angry. No, don't say it. Let's go, and pots and pans are flying around. All right. Well, clean up. Hopefully no police, and do the best you can to clean up and learn from it. Learn what it felt like when you almost fell. Learn what it felt like to breathe and try to stay up. Life is a learning experience, not a punishing. You learn every moment if you do your best. Now, if you decide, and I'll end here, if you decide, I don't want to do my best, I want to get what I want. The only time I can ever be okay if I get what I want, so from now on, you're going to behave the way I want you to. Do people talk to people like that? That's because they don't let go. They just got their junk stored in there, and I'm doing it this way, and that's what I'm doing, and my way is what matters, and that's where evil comes from. That's where all bad comes from, is I only think about me, that which I'm lost in. I don't think I'm lost, I'm found, and I only care about me. I don't care about anybody else, and I'm going to do it my way, and it's going to come out my way, and I'm going to get what I want, all right? That's what goes on, isn't it? Do people do that? Have you noticed the pain and suffering it causes? All right? Don't do that. All right? Work on these things. Jagrative.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.